Hello, good morning. Good morning, everyone from all the planet. This is a very touching meeting. It's a workshop devoted to the memory of J. Pasachoff. And first of all, I would like to say welcome, everyone, and invite Rosa Ross to give the first words about this meeting. We are preparing this encounter since a long time ago. Everyone admired the J. Pasachoff work, and the figure, the person, the human being who was J. Pasachoff. So it's nice to see the friends and colleagues here. Please, Rosa, open this meeting.
Yes. At first, welcome everybody. Thank you very much to participate in this meeting. I would like to mention that several years ago, J. Pasachoff contacted us about the occultation of Betelgeuse for 2023. And the line for this observation was Spain, Italy, and Greece. And the idea was to organize an event for schools, amateurs, general audience, open to everybody. Margarita Metaxa prepared a proposal for IAU, but finally was not possible. But from NASE, we decided to organize this event, especially because the people that we begin to contact in order to prepare the project, they are motivated, they want to continue with the project, and we decide to do it. And this is the reason that we have this event here. And the idea is that we have two parts. One part dedicated to the Betelgeuse occultation. It was a proposal of Jay for us. And after the second part will be about to talk about Jay Pasachoff, the memory that we have from him, and many friends of Jay say to us that they are interested to mention some comments and memories, and we decide to include here in this second part. And also there are some people that out of the agenda, they show us that they are interested to participate, and we will open a few minutes to them. Well, the first part will be about the Betelgeuse occultation. Then we invite mainly people from the three countries that I mentioned before. From Spain, there is a group of amateurs that they show us the observation. Some students also from Spain. And also the participation from the University of Roma in Italy, and the observatory in Athens with Margarita Metaxa in Greece. We would like to mention, Beatrice and myself, that Jay was very near to us. He helped us in many occasions, because when NASE begins in 2009 in the General Assembly of IAU in Rio de Janeiro, we really need some people that support us, and Jay was one of them, together with other people that we mentioned in the second part. And for us was important, this support, and also that he was author in one of our publications, the book that contains practically all the topics of our activities in NASE. We, in any case, would like to mention also another person that worked with us and unfortunately died, was Pablo Bretones, also member of NASE, And we would like to mention here the excellent work that all of us remember from him in the IAU. In any case, the activities that we organize together with the support of many, many people of Commission 46 and now Commission of Education was important in this moment and continues being important at present. We have done several photos, several images of Pasachoff and his students in different eclipses. Also with Naomi, that I know that he's connected now with us, and we are very motivated with this special tribute to Pasachoff, that was an important person, a very important person, very big person, but in the way that I want to say, that very good person. And I think that we would like to begin with the agenda. I don't know if Beatriz maybe want to add some comments to my introduction, or we begin with the first speaker.
No, I suggest to begin because we have a lot of very interesting things to see and to hear. And thank you, Rosa, because, well, Jay was several times in Argentina for different eclipses. And part of the images you presented were during 2017, the annular eclipse in Patagonia, and was a remarkable moment and very touching moment. We never forget. So other images you presented were in Buenos Aires for a partial eclipse, and after a talk in the planetarium of Buenos Aires. Very nice, a very nice moment. Many people was there because Jay Pasachoff in Argentina is very well known by his book, the Guide for Stars and Planets. And you presented the cover of the Spanish version of this guide, and is one of the most used books in for amateurs and for professional astronomers. So thank you very much.
I would like to say that this book is very useful in many countries, not only Argentina. We have also this book in Spain, and I remember was one of the first books that I have in my library. I think it is a very important. Also, the memories of Jay are very important for me because I had the special occasion to work with him in a session in the Prague General Assembly, and it was, I think, in some way the first point that after organize and appears NASE also. Okay. In any case, I want to introduce the first speaker is Carlos Schnabel. Carlos Schnabel is the president of a very important, I believe the most important association of amateurs in my country, Agrupació Astronòmica de Sabadell. They are a group of amateurs that work in many occasions with professionals also, and is a group of people that work very well, and they observed the occultation of last December 12th, and he's also the chair of the working group of occultations of this association, and he met Jay Pasachoff in several eclipses in different parts of the world. Then is also another friend of Jay Pasachoff. Then Carlos, when you want.
Stop sharing the screen, Rosa.
Okay. Good morning, good day, good night, everyone. Yes, I am very happy I'm very, I recognize, I acknowledge this meeting because I am a very small person in the whole universe of J. Pasachoff. So its distribute is very very important to everyone. So let me share the screen because I will say what has been our experience with the occultation of Betelgeuse last Tuesday. It's a very simple presentation because the results are preliminary, and I have to explain how was the preparation. This is the first slide. You can see the track of the occultation. It's running from the Middle East or the East, from Asia to the Mediterranean countries, and then it's going to America, where Florida is the main part of America where the occultation could be seen, but low in the eastern sky. So yes, okay. So this occultation was very special and was I think very special also for Jay, because it was like a little eclipse of the sun. This is a graphic for an solar eclipse. You can see that from the Earth, the sun and the moon are having the same apparent diameter, because the distances of the sun and the moon are very different, but the proportion of the distances are inversely to the proportion of the sizes of both celestial bodies. No, and this was also the case for the occultation of Betelgeuse by the asteroid Leona. In a normal occultation, the star is occulted totally by an asteroid. The asteroids are mainly irregular bodies, and this body, this opaque body, occults totally the star that is here on the left, very far away. And this produces like a shadow over the Earth that's running from one side to another side of the Earth. And when you are observing from inside the shadow, you can see different tracks or different chords, as we say, different timings of the occultation. Here at the north, you can see here on the B point, you can see a shorter occultation than in the center, in the point C. And this gives you the possibility to know the shape of the asteroids. It's very important because asteroids are points of light in our telescopes. So with the occultations, you can you can deduce the form, the diameter, and the shape of the asteroid. And also, it's also very important for knowing the precise position of the asteroid, and this allows to make a very accurate orbits, or to make very accurate corrections to the orbits of the asteroids. But this case was very special. Leona is a normal main belt asteroid. It is invisible to the naked eye, with a diameter of approximately 70 kilometers, and about the distance to the Earth in in light distances about 30 light minutes for this occasion. But Betelgeuse is a red supergiant star in the constellation of Orion. I think everyone is knowing this star in the constellation of Orion, and is the 10th brightest star in the night sky normally. Sometimes it's not so bright, but this is another history. And it's a huge star, between 850 and 900 million kilometers in diameter. So very, very big, really big. The distance to Earth is about 600 light years. So the to give an idea about the distances is like you observed a sphere about 1.9 meters of diameters from 10,000 kilometers, the distance from Barcelona to Los Angeles. This would be the star sphere, 1.9 meters in diameter, and the asteroid would be a tiny dot of dust with 1 micron, with one micron, 1,000th of a millimeter, that would be away from us 5 meters only. This was the proportion about the two celestial bodies. So this was producing this path over the surface of the Earth, and you can see there are different countries who can see it, but this is the idea. The star is a tiny dot of light, but in comparison to the asteroid, is almost the same as seen from the Earth, as seen from our observatories. So the asteroid was occulting not a single point of light. It was occulting a disk, but in our telescopes, we don't see a disk because the star is very far away and the asteroid is also very small. So we only saw a point of light that was partially occulted in the north of the path or in the south of the path, and only it was maybe totally occulted in the center of the path. So it was a different idea. It was different as in a normal occultation. It was like a solar eclipse, but a tiny solar eclipse. This was really a special case. And this is the path of another occultation that served us as a pathfinder for the occultation of Betelgeuse last Tuesday. We were very lucky because on the 30th of September, we could observe another occultation by the same asteroid, Leona, also with a very similar track over southern Spain. And we got very good results. We got very good contacts, very good observations of the occultation, and this yields in the determination in such a plot. You can see the form, the shape of the asteroid. That's the result of the different observations that were obtained during the occultation of September 30th. Here you can see the different tracks obtained on these different parts of southern Spain. And this was a very important occultation, but it allowed us to determine the exact location or the orbit of the asteroid Leona. And so the prediction for the Betelgeuse occultation in December was very accurate. And this is the occultation, the path of the occultation of Betelgeuse, the last 12th of December 12th. These are different observatories, and we were spread out here in southern Spain. You can see the blue dots are observers. The red marks are observatories, fixed observatories. And here focusing on around Alicante and Murcia, where our teams were. And here you can see the different proposed tracks or different proposed locations where observers should record different aspects of the occultation. Our survey teams mainly were located here, and both green dots here, but you can see different mobile observers around us. So this was the expected light curve prepared by Dave Herald, that's author of the program Occult. Dave Herald is really a very important person in the world of occultations, and he prepared his graphics with his program, and you can see the occultation was not like a normal occultation where the star disappears suddenly and then reappears suddenly. It was a soft light curve. This was the predicted light curve across the path, and this along the path, what a single observer would see in his observatory. So the light curve is descending slowly to the bottom, but we were not sure if the star was disappearing completely behind the asteroid or not, because we didn't know exactly if the apparent diameter of the star was bigger than the apparent diameter of the asteroid. And this is science, so we have to observe and what is the truth of this question. This is the day of the observation. This is our both teams, where we were located on two rural houses. This is one team, the northernmost team, and this is the southernmost team. And I will explain here some particular details. But let's look this video recording. Here you have the star, very bright. It's an overexposed image of the star. But here you have, I hope you see it. Here you have some comparison stars. This is a special video with the overexposed Betelgeuse to record some for recording some stars to normalize the light of Betelgeuse. And here I will start the video. You will see the video is giving the velocity if half on frame or 2 frames per second. You have seen the dim in the light of Betelgeuse, no? This is a real duration. This is the actual duration. The occultation lasted only some 10 seconds, but the central part you could see was very short. Maybe you could see the star was dimming in only 6 seconds in time, 6 seconds duration. So it was really amazing. And here,
sorry, Carlos.
Yeah.
Someone is asking for the repetition
okay,
of the video.
okay. Yeah, it's very nice. Okay, here you can see the star is dim, begins to dim now. Yeah, this is the minimum, and now it recovers. Yeah.
Great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was great. Yes. We stopped to look at the screen at the moment, and we were looking to the star with our own eyes. It was like an eclipse. It was really a very special moment. If you want, I can repeat another time. You can see the reference stars are all the time the same. Yes, but Betelgeuse is dimming. Betelgeuse didn't disappear totally to the night A, but for the first impression was the star disappeared. But then we were able to remember that the star didn't disappear, but some observers had clouds, and for them, the star disappeared. And these are the recordings. These are some drafts of the analysis of the photometric analysis of the occultation. This is the result on one location, the northernmost location, with reference stars, and here on the southernmost location. You can see it's very clear to see. And here, this is another recording, but with part of the constellation Weissburg. You can see here the three stars in the belt of Orion, the Orion Nebula, and this is Bellatrix, and this is Betelgeuse. So you would see that the star here is not so clearly dimming, but this is a video recording. So for the naked eye, our eyes are more able to see variations in the light. But I will show this recording made by José Masalles. Here, the star begins to dim. Yeah, it's okay. Yes, now the minimum, and now it's recovering. So it's, you can see very good that the star is during the occultation, during the minimum of the occultation, is so bright or dimmer as Bellatrix here in the sides. Yeah, I repeat here the occultation. I can imagine that J would be exploding with happiness during the occultation. It's like an solar eclipse, but a mini solar eclipse. Okay.
Yes, and yes, it's very nice, and it's incredible because almost
amazing.
incredible because you can see also the phenomena by eyes. It means
Yes.
you didn't need a telescope finally or another device. So excellent, great.
I think it's a good idea you pass again the video.
Yes, it's now going on. Yes, you can see the dimming of the star. So I was very impressed because we didn't know exactly if the star was in the position it was predicted, because Betelgeuse is a very big star, and the satellite Gaia, the Gaia mission, could not obtain a good astrometry of the star. And therefore, it was a great inaccuracy in the position of the star. So it was very, very impressive how accurate was the prediction. It seems that the prediction, the actual occultation was displaced maybe some 15 or 20 kilometers to the north. But okay, it seems for a solar eclipse, it would be horrible, but for an occultation, it's very normal. So it's really a big a big result. And here I can show you also we made also some spectroscopy of the star before and during the occultation. You can see here on the screen with a star analyzer. It's a very simple spectroscope. You can see the star, and here the spectrum of the star. In this case, is Jupiter. It was we were testing with Jupiter, but here's the star. You can see the star here, but here with the star analyzer, you can see the star here and the spectrum of the star. And these are the results, but they have to be accurately analyzed. This is Betelgeuse, the spectrum of Betelgeuse without occultation, and this is with occultation. You can compare it. There are some difference, but mainly in the intensity of the lines, because Betelgeuse is occulted. But there are maybe, and that should be very accurately analyzed. There are maybe some differences in the lines, in the absorption of the emission lines. This has to be analyzed, but much with much more accuracy. And so I am ending my speech. I have to thank very much José Luis Ortiz and Mike Kretlow from and many other persons in the Instituto de Astrofísica de Andalucía in Granada. They are the professionals who were leading the project of the observation in Spain. I have also to thank Miguel Montargès and Jocelyn Demar from Paris Observatory, because they are also taking all the observations, and they were preparing also this campaign to study very accurately the star Betelgeuse. Miguel Montargès is one of the best specialists devoted to the star Betelgeuse. He's one of the main specialists in the world about the star Betelgeuse. He knows everything about the star. And he is he wants to analyze the different observations in order to see if the occultation of the different parts of the star gives us some clues about the atmosphere of the star. And finally, I have to thank also very much Dave Herald, the author of the program Occult, and one of the person that's make possible to have a very accurate prediction And also, I have to acknowledge all the IOTA members, especially members in Europe. There were also other efforts, especially I want to significate or want to say about the efforts made in Italy by Claudio Costa, and also another teams in all the track from Asia to America. So thank you very much for being here. Great success, many thanks. And here is our team, part of our team in Alicante, taking a paella before the occultation. It is not after the occultation, but before. Here with Josep Masalles, Carlos Perelló, Jordi Joan, me, and Antoni Selva. So thank you very much for listening me, and I am here for any questions.
Thank you, Carlos. It's a very nice photo, and I am sure a very good paella.
Yeah.
I would like to open to the participants in the meeting if they have any questions, any comments to you.
Yeah.
First to pass to the next, I can give.
Carlos, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, of course. Yes, go on.
Ben Zuckerman
Yes.
in California. I just want to say that your presentation was really excellent, even though it's the middle of the night here. You just kept me totally focused on what you were saying. Jay would have been very happy with your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. You're very welcome.
Maybe other comments?
Just to say, congratulations, really, because it's nice to see this observation, but also you are very lucky because the weather. So
yeah, of
a
course.
nice moment, yes.
And especially, I think that it's very, very important that it's possible to observe without any optical support. I think this was the origin of that. J. Pasachoff insists in this observation for schools, because it is possible only look at the sky. And Orion is a constellation very well known for all the students when they begin to study a little bit of astronomy. Is the first constellation. And then I think it is an excellent idea to observe this special event. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I suggest that to give the opportunity to talk to the next speaker, Jose Maria Diaz. Jose Maria Diaz is the physics teacher in the Colegio de Salesianos de Uruguay, is the high school. And he has the lucky special position in the good place, with the school is exactly in the line of the better observation. Then I know that he has the opportunity to observe with some students, and I would like to ask especially for the feeling that all the group, Jose Maria, Chema in Spanish, and his students. Then, if you want to share with us your PowerPoint, maybe. You have here the students. Excellent.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Rosa, for inviting us to this meeting, and Ederlinda and Beatriz. It's an honor for us to share our experience. Let me share my screen. It's a short presentation. Okay. This is pantalla. Esto de aquí.
Si puedes abrir toda la pantalla, it's possible that you show us.
Yes.
but we can see with the small ones on the left. Si puedes abrirlo todo, que no se vean las pequeñitas al lado izquierdo.
Pues no sé cómo Paco.
Sí, abajo hay donde está esto para crecer y empequeñecer. Al lado hay como una especie de televisor, dale al televisor este, a mano derecha.
No,
Sí, a mano derecha.
mano derecha.
Abajo, en la parte
Ahí
inferior.
abajo, en la parte inferior,
Ahí está.
ahí está. Bueno, vale, no es exactamente esto, pero bueno, vale. Ya nos vale. Venga.
¿Está bien así?
Sí, se ve bien.
Okay. Bueno, welcome everybody. Thank you again for this opportunity to share our experience. Rosa knows us. We are Salesian School in Úbeda. We have a lot of years of experience teaching astronomy, technology, science in general. We have participated in science in action several years. We usually participate with the Science Park of Granada with our projects also. And we usually participate also in the Eratosthenes project with Argentina, Colombia, a lot of countries through e-twinning project or through other projects. But only is for a brief presentation of us. We try to teach strictly and seriously science, but with a certain sense of humor also. We can engage our students in a more fun way. As you have said, we have lucky. Úbeda was in the middle of the line of the shadows. We are very, very lucky and very happy. But we need to share our experience. We have contacted with the Astronomical Association Quarks in Úbeda. It has a lot of experience of observation, but they went to Cazorla to make the observation. It is 50 kilometers away. At 2 hours in the morning, it's impossible for us to come here. But we have their help with us. Oh, December 11th. The afternoon, the evening was cloudy. We were very, very, very sad. The only star in the sky was Jupiter, only Jupiter. We have crying almost half an hour. Little by little, the sky was clearing, and we first saw Betelgeuse, and then another time after, we can see the Orion constellation. And I invite my students to see the phenomenon from their houses, because it's impossible for us to make an observation in group in the countryside. This is my photo from my house. A beautiful clear sky, and we can see the entire Orion constellation. And this is how could see the Orion without Betelgeuse. But this second photo is a fake. I explained you what was because I was very, very excited very, very exciting taking this photo. And I observed, oh, Betelgeuse is disappearing. Oh my God, it's disappearing. But 5 seconds after, Betelgeuse appears again. And my God, a photo. so I prepared this fake photo for you, but with some sense of humor. But we have a hero in our class. Come here. This is my student Sofia that they took this humble video. It's enough, of course. The video. ¿Se puede poner? ¿Cómo lo pongo? No, I can put play. Vaya, no worry.
Eventually, probablemente podés salir de la presentación y
Poner el
Y le
vídeo.
doy.
poner el video por afuera.
Dale al vídeo solo. Quita
Claro.
la presentación. Comparte tu pantalla.
A ver.
Cierra esto y dale al vídeo.
You can see the video.
More or less, más o menos.
A ver, vamos a repetir lo que te he dicho antes. Abajo, tú ves que tienes una rayita con un menos y un más a mano derecha. ¿Lo ves? A mano derecha. Dale al primer icono que está al lado del menos. Dale a ese icono.
No lo sé.
No, abajo.
En la presentación.
La presentación. Ahí, a este, dale a este.
El problema es que no veo cómo darle al play.
No. Dale
Es
a
que
este al play.
Ya se está. No.
¿Se estaba viendo?
Disculparme. Creo que al compartir has escogido la pantalla que no es. Por eso se veía la de preparación.
29, 30. No, tú no tenías tantos segundos. Vale, no, don't worry. We have this sequence of photos taken by the video. In this first photo, it appears...
Perdón porque no estamos viendo ahora la diapositiva que sigue.
No, estamos viendo el vídeo. Pasa a la siguiente. La próxima.
This?
No,
Five?
no estás en... No, lo que pasa es que no estás en presentación, no estás en modo presentación, sino que estamos viendo tu pantalla.
Otra vez. Dejo de compartir.
Claro, sí.
Compartimos otra vez.
Bien, ahora sí,
Ahora
pero
sí,
igual no está en modo presentación, está como en edición.
A ver, voy. Espera,
dale al icono que te he dicho antes, el que está al lado del menos. Ese icono. Dale.
¿Ahora?
No, le has dado y lo has apagado. Dale otra vez.
Dejo.
Con la presentación.
Con la presentación.
Oye, ¿por qué no dejas que Sofía nos cuente su impresión? ¿Qué es lo que ella vio? ¿Qué es lo que ella sintió?
¿Cómo lo comparto ahora? No puedo hacerlo. Ay, Dios mío. No puedo, qué torpe, pues si nunca me ha dado problemas esto.
Problemas solo ocurren cuando ya estás en el escenario.
Claro.
Sí, no, en los ensayos todo va bien. A ver, oye, ¿por qué no nos cuentáis un poco la impresión, qué es lo que vio?
La pantalla, ¿qué? Mira, si no puedo estar en dos sitios.
Bueno.
A ver. ¿Estoy compartiendo ahora? I'm sharing now?
Yes, more or less, but yes.
Sí.
Yes, next slide.
Next.
Venga, dale, sí.
Okay.
This? Okay.
Yeah.
This is poor photos, but In this first photo, we can see Betelgeuse. In the second, it is disappearing. In the third, no, it is not Betelgeuse. And then we appear again in this.
Okay.
It's the best we can do. We can do this.
Okay, muy bien. I would like to know that the opinion, the feeling, the impression of Sophia. Could you explain to
hello.
us? Hello, Sophia.
Hello. So I was able to see this star from my balcony. Also, I see that the star disappeared and in a few seconds appear again. So it was a experience very, very impressive for me because I also unexpected about this. Really, I feel very nervous, but I can take photos and some video with my phone. And also, it was very impressive. So,
Excellent, congratulations, because I am sure that you feel nervous, but you control and you take the photos. And then,
yes.
Bravo, we can see also. And
Yes.
do you want to mention more comments or maybe your colleagues?
Yes. No, I don't know. It was impressive, and also I don't expect that I can see very, very well the stars, and I have a very lucky views.
Excellent. I have one question because we didn't see very well the video. The star, Betelgeuse, really disappears absolutely, or it's more or less a little bit present?
No disappear absolutely.
Oh, sorry. You are sorry. You are mute now. I commit a mistake. Sorry. Please turn on the. Nice.
Sofía,
Thank you.
we didn't, no te hemos podido escuchar. ¿Puedes repetir?
Yes, of course. I see that Betelgeuse looks like disappear, but is not absolutely so shine a bit, but it's very obviously that shine a bit, but less than in normal ways.
Muy bien. Thank you. We have any other speaker?
Yes, of course.
Yes, please.
Good morning. My name is Venceslav. I'm going to tell my experience. First of all, how lucky we were to see this phenomenon. We didn't know about it until our teacher, Jose Maria, told us about it in class. Later, we were so interested that we meet with our teacher in the afternoon to tell us the details of this, so we could see it. The night I was waiting until the early morning to see the stellar phenomenon, and I took the opportunity to study history because the next day I had an exam. At 2:15 in the morning it happened. Well, it was a little bit this year because it lasted maybe 5 seconds. But if you think about it is behind it is something incredible, and that is why I'm fascinated for having been lucky now to see it.
Do you have the idea that it was a special situation for you? Do you have the idea that you are in an historical moment, really?
Yes, I know. Our teacher talk about we have in the perfect place and in the perfect moment of the history. I think is for say to my son in the future, I see a very historical phenomenon.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And maybe another colleague, do you want to explain to us?
Let me introduce you one friend.
Oh, hello,
I
Rose.
know this student. I know him. Hello, Paco.
Hello, how are you?
Fine. We don't have the opportunity to see the Betelgeuse, but I hope that you explain to us.
Yes. That Wenceslao said he was the opportunity to study history exams, and we have the opportunity to correct exams.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a
Thank
question for the teachers, and it's about the teaching of the astronomy in the class. This is a great event, and is the possibility to involve the students and the families, etc., in a very nice project, a citizen science project. But what about the everyday, each day life in the school and the teaching of the astronomy? How do you see this activity? How do you see the discipline as one of the most important in the class? What about the students? How many students involved in this kind of project after the high school follow some career in STEMs, for example?
I would love to have a subject named astronomy, for example. I know in other institute and other school they have this subject, but we can teach only in some periods of the course. Right now in physics and chemistry, I teach chemistry only. In March, April, or May, we study physics and we learn and teach orbits, forces, etc.
Sometimes we talk with the students and we
Some weekends, for example, we meet some student at night and make observation of Jupiter, Saturn, also.
And they are more interested in the science after this kind of projects? ¿Están más interesados en la ciencia después de proyectos? ¿O ven que, bueno, termina con la observación de un evento particular?
I know the activities that they organize in the school, and they are working in astrophysics mainly for many years, maybe 10 years or something like that. They involve many students, and they obtained many prizes also. They are a very good example of teachers motivated. And if the teachers are motivated, finally, students are motivated also. I am practically sure, because I know they appear very serious here, but they are very funny and nice teachers, and they are very active. and the people active move other people, no? And I am sure that that probably there are more students that observe it that maybe are not here because it is a Saturday of the morning. And in my country, Saturday on the morning, all the students have to play football, tennis, many things. And then it is difficult to go to the school.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. I don't know if maybe there are any questions for them.
I cannot see any hand raised.
Thank you very much, and continues in the same way. And congratulations for your excellent observation. And you are very lucky people because you are in the good place, in the good moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We need to go home, Rosa. Excuse me, excuse us, because the children, they have no lunch. We are at the school, and we need to return.
I understand. Don't worry. The session will be recorded, and you can see in the YouTube. Then no problem. Thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to Wenceslao. Thank you to Sofia, Paco, and thank you, Chema. Bye-bye. The next speaker, bye.
Is Constantino, are you there?
Constantino Sismondi. Yes, I saw him before. He's a professor of physics in Rome, in the La Sapienza University, and also in Alessandro Volta Institute of Rome. I saw him before. I don't know.
Yes, I am here.
Constantino. Then it could be very nice that we can see your face. Could you turn on the video, please?
You can see probably my face.
Now, yes. Now, yes.
To share the...
Sorry, but Mediterranean people need to see the face of the people. We feel better.
Okay, I hope that all the system will resist my face. And
No
you have...
Perfect.
We see very well. You can begin.
See the thing, okay?
Okay, okay.
Thank you very much for inviting me in this meeting. And let me greet all the participants. I read the name that I already know from studying and from science meeting, and also people that I don't know, but I really appreciate all the participants there, and I greet all of you. My title was set in this way to speak about eclipses and this particular eclipse of Betelgeuse. I studied the solar diameter since the end of the last century with the solar eclipse in Munich total. And afterwards I participated to a project in Yale University, and after that I remained completely involved in this thing. Let's see if I can go. In this abstract that you can read afterwards, I want to mention the people who contributed to that, but only a few ones. Paolo De Vincenzi, my students who after school in Galileo Ferrari's Institute came to physics at Sapienza University, Claudio Costa from Specola Vaticana and IOTA, Alfonso Noschese, IOTA and Astro Campania as well, Conrad Gull, who is the president of IOTA European section. The IOTA is International Occultation Timing Association. Marek Zawilski and Marcin Gorko of the Polytechnic of Łódź in Poland. The reason of these names is because we made an agreement also on the type of observation during this particular occultation. And also Marek Zawilski is very famous to have realized the atlas of historical eclipses. One method to measure the solar diameter is to timing the meridian transit. Here you have an image taken last 2 of December, sorry, in Santa Maria degli Angeli. The sun is moving from right to left, and the timing on this meridian line is proportional to the solar diameter. This kind of measurement have been done in Rome and in Greenwich in contemporary during 70 years from 1877 to 1937. The results are very controversial. The influence of air turbulence has been considered always strong, and so the certainty about the variation of the solar diameter have been discussed for more than a century. In 1891, a team in Germany produced the actual solar standard diameter of 1959.63 arcsecond. This is the radius of the sun, published by Auwers in 1891, made with a heliometer of Göttingen. Other instruments exploit the transit of the sun, but not on a meridian, but on a circle of equal 8. And these instruments are in Sao Paulo, Nice, Rio de Janeiro, San Fernando, Tubitak in Turkey, Tamarrasset in Algeria. I was at the PhD thesis of Sergio Boscardini in 2011. He showed that there were trends with different value, but the same trend of the solar diameter changed, and we proved in 2015 the reason of these different values. It was the parallelism of filter spaces. Then there is a variation in the solar diameter. Historical eclipses are other means to measure the solar diameter. The first one mentioned was the one observed in Rome by Father Clavius in 1567, the 9th of May, probably exactly in the center of Rome, near the present location of Collegio Romano. We know now that this was an hybrid eclipse, annular and total at the same time, annular in some places and total in other places. That's the definition of hybrid. In 1978, Jack Eddy came out with the thesis, if Clavius has seen this eclipse as annular, as he published in the commentaries of John Hollywood Sphere, the sun should have been bigger in 1567 of 4 arcseconds. Another eclipse was the 1715 of Edmund Halley, and in the last century there were 2 great eclipses in North America, one over New York City and the other one 54 years later, after an exeligmos period of time, a name Greek coming from Ptolemy, which was observed by the team of Sabatino Sofia at Yale University, the same team to which that I joined in the year 2000 when I started to work with them on the solar diameter variations. David Dunham in 1973 published a paper to suggest to observe the eclipses from the shadow's limits. So now the title of Shadow Chasers came out. But in this case, apparently the problem was that it was necessary to go at the limit of the shadow. This is a photo of the last hybrid eclipse on April 20, 2023, from a smartphone in Australia, where you can see in the bottom the ghost image of the bead, the last bead remained during the totality. This is not the corona, but it is an overexposure of the corona made with the very sensitive camera of the modern smartphones. Occultations and eclipses deal together with the lunar limb. Lunar occultation. This is a grace of Antares in 2009. These points are the observation of the grazers, the observers who were there to see the eclipse. And these are the lunar limb recovered by the laser altimeter of Kaguya, while the other line is the profile of Chester Watts, published in 1962, for the same reason, to use the moon as GPS, basically. Transit of Mercury, other means to measure the solar diameter. After the thesis that the sun changed its diameter, Irwin Shapiro, Harvard CFA, came out with a paper saying, no, there were no variation of the solar diameter because I analyzed the transit of Mercury. Transit of Mercury are affected, like the ones more rare of Venus, by the famous black drop phenomenon. It means that the planet seems to be linked to the darkness out of the solar disk for a time, for a duration of time longer than the real internal contact. And the same symmetrical to the external, the egress one. Guido Horn d'Arturo in 1926 explained this with optical considerations, and I met firstly Jai Pasachoff from his paper on the black drop explained with trace satellite. This is the link to this paper. And it happened that we saw a transit of Mercury, two transits of Mercury actually, together. The last one we were in Pescara, connected from the ICRANET Center with the students in the main room. We saw the transit upstairs, and afterwards we saw the transit online with all the observatories connected, in particular with Jai Pasachoff. The solar diameter with the stellar diameter with occultation, we already heard and saw the presentation of Carles Schnabel. I don't repeat the wonderful explanation of him, just mentioning the velocities. So when you have the moon covering the sun, the typical velocity of the moon is half an arc second per second. While you have the asteroid in front of a star, because the distances are enormously larger, the velocity of the body, occulting body, is much more smaller. It's 8 milliseconds per second. This is the value of Betelgeuse diameter before the occultation. The best estimate was 48 milliseconds per hour. So we expected a ascending ramps of 6 seconds. But Betelgeuse is a very complicated star. is considered a variable star, an irregular variable star of type SC. This star, I followed the star since 12 years of continuous observations to put in evidence the variations. The luminosity of Betelgeuse normally is around 0.7 to the minimum to 0 to the maximum. Betelgeuse gets the luminosity of Capella. It arrived to this luminosity last May. And during the Great Dimming, started in December 2019, Betelgeuse got a very low minimum, up to the magnitude 1.8, below the luminosity of Bellatrix, the other shoulder of Orion. Betelgeuse actually is present in the mythology of various cultures, not only the Greek Latin one, where the giant Orion has a painful shoulder, but also in the mythology of Australia, as Bradley Schaffer wrote splendidly on this subject. In all the cases, the ancient people knew that Betelgeuse was a variable star. Betelgeuse and Orion is an intercontinental constellation because, being equatorial, is visible from both hemispheres. For this special event, we did the preliminary works that are summarized in the Astronomical Telegram posted last 9 of December, because of allowing all possible people, after the email that we exchanged between us, all possible people to know that it was better to use the largest telescope to observe Betelgeuse, because they limitate the effect of star blinking, scintillation. And also, all the eclipses are always unconventional events, then also occultation. We had to discuss and test the setup for this unique event. An example of eclipses, chasers, eclipse, shadow chaser, eclipse preparation is given by these two giants of the science, Jay Pasachoff and Serge Kuchny. I had the occasion to work with Serge at Paris IAP, Institut d'Astrophysique, in the ancient observatory of Gian Domenico Cassini, the Royal Observatory in Paris. And I had to work with Pasachoff online, but very close friend as well. Well, they both decided this year, and I found this photo on the web. I know that both were able to prepare an eclipse for all the time between an eclipse and another one, which means about 1 or 2 years. They prepared a new experiment always, new techniques. They proposed to study new aspect of the star, the sun, which is the closest star that we have. We know only this surface before the analysis of the occultation of Betelgeuse. For now, the details of the surface of the stars are only coming from the sun. We have, yes, some very large baseline interferometry data coming from the VLT telescope in Chile, from the ALMA consortium always in Atacama Desert, but the resolution is a few pixels over the whole diameter of the star. Then eclipses were always exploited to know more of the sun and especially of the atmosphere of the sun, the chromosphere, the corona, the interplay between photosphere and corona, the magnetism in the corona. All these experiments were performed during about 70 eclipses observed by them. And I enjoyed the previous presentation or the previous annunciation about the partial eclipses, because also partial eclipses are important to be observed, to sensibilize the people to this kind of science, to astrometry, to many students can follow partial eclipses because they are more easy to be found than the total ones. This video made by Alfonso Noschese is the preparation of the Betelgeuse occultation. You see the telescope producing several images of the star by which the turbulence of the atmosphere is averaged, because at the end, the sum of all this observation is the final result. This is the telescope in a similar setup to observe Betelgeuse and to exploit the width of the telescope. We prepare these things for the occultation after discussing in a very good way among us the occultation. So in scale, it was the same kind of preparation that Professor Pasachoff and Professor Kuchmi had for their eclipses. Here, their website where many preliminary results are already published by the observers, and especially from the ones we met in Calabria last Tuesday. This is the light curve in H alpha by Alfonso Noschese, who is connected here and is co-author of our work. And you see the results about the occultation with the timing. The peak was at 2, 13, and 6 seconds. The slope is then the difference between this kind of observation and the traditional occultation, in which the slope is almost not existent. We saw a slope on 19th of October 2005, always in Calabria and Vibo Valencia, with the Regulus occultation, but the diameter of Regulus came out to be 1 millisecond of arc. Here, the preliminary results says that the diameter is much larger. Instead of 48, it seems to be near 60 milliseconds of arc. This is Claudio Costa, light curve, always preliminary. Same thing. We have a slope down and up. We have a structure in the minimum. And all these things can be discussed in the forthcoming scientific papers. This is another analysis made by David Herald and Alfonso Noschese, arrived just a few minutes ago. The fit says that the stellar diameter in the various wave bands are around 57 to 59 milliseconds of arc, and the limb darkening function is almost the darkest one. I did not have time to mention this, the website of University from Spain, but there is a very wonderful web page where University of Granada published an applet to modify the U parameter and seeing the result of the occultation from different geometries. But the occultation is also, or the eclipses are also occurring in special places. where normally there is no idea to go. Where in this case, the place was Magna Graecia, the colonies of Greece after the age of Pericles in Athens. This place was realized, was firstly conceived by Hippodamus of Mileto, the first urbanist in the history, and Herodotus. So all those people came to southern Italy and built the colony of Sibari, which became very wealthy. We see a Ionian column in a flooded area because Sibari was destroyed during a war with Croton, and the war ended with a flood because Pythagoras projected this completely erasing of the city by modifying the river, the flow toward the city. Now the city received another flood 10 years ago to remember this tragedy of the past. But also it is interesting to see that the location was prepared. This is the Steve Preston website, very nice, where you can know and compute the position with respect to the former center line. This is the position that I had. These are some of the position of the people who registered on this website, and the parameters of the occultation. This is another place, the city of Saracena. No, sorry, this is my place, but it is very similar. Now I see in my short screen another place that I studied, the city of Saracena, very, very small in the mountains in Calabria, where other people, among them Father Vincenzo, one of my students, observed by naked eye the phenomenon, as the students that I saw in the previous presentation. And Betelgeuse Plaza, I baptized this place where I observed the star, and this is a video that I prepared for the students of Rome and Pescara. The video is part of a podcast meeting, because the way to enjoy this event, we thought to be not only the very moment of the eclipse or the data, but also the possibility to experience all the preparations that we made for observing this very, very rare phenomenon. And so we had the possibility to have a repetition of the occultation of Betelgeuse, because normally this occurs once in a Saros cycle, but this is the occultation as seen from Betelgeuse Plaza. You see the profile of Leona covering the very strange surface of the supergiant, the red supergiant, Alpha Orionis. And the occultation lasted very few seconds, because after the passage of the asteroid, the surface of the star became again visible. And through this observation, it is possible to know the modulation of the light over the surface of Betelgeuse, and if there are bright spots or dark spots, like they are expected in this star, in order to know the star and also the interior of the surface, or the structure that are behind the star, which can enhance the luminosity like near the maxima, according to the thesis of Margarita Karowska and also Andrea Dupré, that at Harvard are studying Betelgeuse since many decades. They participated with us to the meeting dedicated to the Betelgeuse fall and rise in the occasion of the Marcel Grossman meeting held in Rome last year, and after the end of the great dimming of Betelgeuse. But the occultation is also preparing a travel and doing a travel with the complication of a travel, like the delay of the train for Sibari. But the history also, I spoke about Magna Graecia. We have the bull, the ramping bull of Turi, the second city built over Sibari place, or the female, the Dama of Sibari, in the museum of Sibaritide, or the Roman city of Copia, built over the second colony of Greece over the first one, which was Sibari. You see also occultation in this wonderful place. And the account of Italian activities is summarized by this photo. You have the head of Astro Campania Association and Alfonso Noschese, who organized for all these people the arrangements for the night, and they displaced them all over the area in order to be sure to get results from the occultation of Betelgeuse. There is also Konrad Gull, Marek Zawilski, Marcin Gorko, Claudio Costa, all the people present and in this event gathered by Astro Campania. Massimo Corbisiero is the organizer, the local organizer committee chair. And this is me greeting you from the Ionian Sea at the seaside. Before the Geminids observing session, we could observe also the bright display of the Geminids, which were about to have the maximum just in the night of the occultation. Thanks, Joy, for sharing with us your passion of the eclipses. A thanks from the students of Galileo Galilei and Professor Ruffini that participated to all online meetings in Igranet from 12/19 on. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Constantino, for your presentation. I am sorry, but we are not at time for questions. And then I would like to invite the next speaker. Thank you very much for your contribution. The next speaker is Margarita Metaxa. I said before that he was one of the person that promote this project with the suggestion of Jay. And Margarita Metaxa is a member of the National Observatory in Athens, is also working in Pasachoff High School, is the National Outreach Coordinator of IAU in Greece, and he has a long trajectory on light pollution and also in education. Then, Margarita, thank you for your excellent work for many, many years in IAU, and we are interested to know your presentation.
Yes, thank you very much, Rosa, for inviting me. Let me share my, one moment, my presentation.
It's fine, we can see very well.
Okay.
Oh no, it was before was better. Now we observed your two slides.
Excuse me.
Only one.
Excuse me, how can I do it again? One moment.
Yes, it's better. No.
Like this?
No.
It's okay?
Only it is better if you only show the main slide, not all the small ones in the left area.
Oh, something happened. Can I continue like that now?
Okay, you continue. Okay.
Okay, so good morning, good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much, Rosa and Beatriz. And it's an honor for me to be here with you, invited in this commemoration to tribute J. Pasachoff. I will start with the invitation I had from Jay. I knew that all the previous speakers would cover all the scientific part of occultation. So last December, I had an email from Jay inviting me to join his team here in Greece to observe the occultation as he was scheduling to come to Greece. So, of course, I agreed. And immediately after, me and another colleague of him started working with all the needed arrangements. Of course, knowing that the occultation was as well, was going also as well to be observed from Spain, I contacted immediately Rosa, who I know she was a close collaborator of Jay and Beatrice for many, many years. If we could do something together. Unfortunately, our proposal to IAU was not accepted, but we had, of course, to tribute Jay. So we started organizing here in Greece all what was needed for observing the occultation. Being an IAU national coordinator for astronomy outreach in collaboration with the National Astronomical Committee, the Hellenic Astronomical Society, the Astrophysics Institute of the Technological Educational Institute of Crete, and the Aeroliths Museum in Athens. We arranged everything needed to have a dedicated observation in collaboration with Kerdros Observatory in Grevena, since, as you see, the path of the occultation was in the northern Greece. But unfortunately, we were not lucky. It was raining, so we don't have any observations from the occultation. But it was a while other organizations because we tribute Jay. Jay was a giant in his field, as we all know. He was not only making a cutting-edge science, he also was able to disseminate his science and astronomy. May I say that he was a type of Carl Sagan? We can discuss it. Now permit me to tell you my memories from Jay. I met him in IAU Symposium and General Assembly about 30 years ago. He was an emblematic personality, nevertheless very friendly, very generous, very open-minded, and open to collaboration if he believed that it worth a while. In that perspective, we started a long collaboration based on my first international activity on light pollution, where he was really very supportive. Since we continued, and I have to point out at this moment that this was very helpful for me at these days, since here in Greece, he was very well known and admired. Another very significant collaboration we had was when he organized the solar eclipse in Castellorizo, Greece in 2007, as far as I remember, where he invited me and my students to go and participate in his observations. I can continue talking about his unique personality, but I will give the floor to the next session, which is dedicated to him, pointing out his exceptional wife, Naomi, who I was also very lucky to meet her during our collaboration, and she was always next to him. Thank you, Naomi, for the collaboration. And I think, Rosa, that next solar eclipse is going to be happen in Spain. Maybe we could continue. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Margarita, for your presentation and your words to Jay that, of course, are a general feeling for all of us. I don't know if there are any questions or any comments from the participants. It looks that we don't have comments. Okay, then I would like to give the opportunity to the next speaker. Probably I pronounce very bad the name, sorry.
Just a comment, Rosa. This is the second part of the meeting.
Yes, yes.
Is the section or the moment to hear the friends from the Jay's friend, and the people who was in contact. And I would like to say that the people here in the list of the speakers are people who ask for time to speak about Jay. So I know there will be more people after this list you have in the agenda. So please remain seated at your home or workplaces, because this list is not complete at all. We have more people who wants to talk about Jay. So sorry, Rosa, just to mention that here not invited, but people who demand time to speak about Jay.
Yes, it's our idea to give the opportunity to all the people that want to mention some words that have the possibility to do it in a short way, of course. But we would like to try to give this opportunity to everybody. The next speaker is Ku Song Kwang. He is the current chair of the working group on solar eclipses of Commission of the IAU, and she's member of the Chinese Academy of Science and the Yunnan Astronomical Observatory. I don't know if Ku is here. I didn't see before, but probably he's connected.
I cannot see him, but
no, me too.
I will send the, yes, I propose to
continue
go to the
next
follow.
one, okay? Yeah. And if he is connected, we give time to him. The next person that say to us that was interested to talk about Jay was Jadet Singh from the Jaipur University. A member of IAU, also member of the Commission of Eclipses. I don't know if he's here or not. It looks he's not there. Well, then the next speaker, I know that he was there because I have the opportunity to see his photo during the previous speakers, is Fred Spinak from the NASA. It was, now he's retired, but was member of NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. And he was well known in the area of eclipses predictions. He's an American astrophysicist. He was in in one of our participants I saw before, but I don't know, is now here.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Excellent, Fred. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Then, if you want to talk about Jay, or do you have any PowerPoint that you want to use?
I don't have any PowerPoint. I just have a few brief comments.
No, it's not necessary. It's your time.
Okay. I knew Jay for more than 3 decades, and I was fortunate to share his company at several solar eclipses. Can you hear me fine?
Yes, we.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I will try to turn off the microphones, Fred. Go on.
Okay. When I began writing the NASA eclipse bulletins in the 1990s, it was difficult to get funding for this work at the agency. Jay wrote invaluable letters of recommendation for my proposals and helped me to continue this activity at NASA. He invited me to join the International Astronomical Union's working group on solar eclipses, which validated my eclipse work with the agency. Over the years, Jay contributed some of his best eclipse images to Totality, the eclipse book I co-authored with Mark Littman. In fact, our most recent edition contains a spectacular image of the 2017 corona shot by Jay and his eclipse team. Speaking of which, Jay was instrumental in the early careers of a number of young scientists by enlisting their help in operating experiments on many of Jay's eclipse expeditions, often taking them to distant and exotic corners of the world. With every upcoming eclipse, Jay was eager to share his passion with the media and the general public, participating in countless interviews and Zoom presentations. He was a firm believer that everyone should see a total solar eclipse at least once in their life. I was honored to maintain a world map for Jay that showed the location of all his solar eclipse expeditions, and I doubt if anyone will exceed his record for a number of eclipses anytime soon. The last eclipse we spent together was in Argentina in 2017. My wife, Pat, and I fondly remember time spent with Jay and Naomi on that trip. In the summer of 2022, my granddaughter was applying to colleges, and she wanted to visit Williams College. The Pasachoffs generously arranged a tour of Williams Observatory for her, as well as a visit to their home, even though Jay was undergoing aggressive medical treatments at the time. During the visit, Jay gave an autographed copy of his field guide to weather to my wife to bring home. When my wife, Pat, told him that I was working on a bulletin for the 2024 solar eclipse, he emailed me offering to proofread the manuscript. After receiving helpful comments and corrections from Jay, the bulletin was published in October. A month later, he was gone. Jay's accomplishments in solar physics and astronomy are well known to all. And the name Pasachoff is synonymous with eclipses of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
But his generosity, kindness, and enthusiasm for eclipses the time he invested in educating all of us about them are what I will remember and miss the most.
Thank you, Fred.
Farewell, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. I'd also like to say thank you, and the family connection between the remainder of the Pasachoff family and your family, Fred, will continue.
Thank you so much.
I also would like to give my thanks to you, Fred, because you are a good friend of us. You are a good friend of Jay, and we learn a lot also from you and your work. So thank you a lot.
Thank you very much for participating. It is not easy, we understand. And we have a special feeling, all of us in this moment. Well, I believe that we are a special person here in this group, that it is Naomi that is with us, and I think that it is a good idea.
No, Rose, I suggest to invite Professor Yakdev Singh because he is here.
Who?
The person before Fred.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Ah, is here. Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know.
So it's my turn now?
Well, if you want, yes. You are. Hello, how are Professor? Sorry for the. Because you have not. It's not your name in the identification of the Zoom.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Please.
Yeah. So perhaps it's difficult for you to pronounce my name, Zhongquan Qu. Yeah. Okay, dear Mrs. Pasachoff and your family and our colleagues, it's an honor for me to present a talk for commemorating Professor Dr. Jim Pasachoff, our ex-chair of the IAU Working Group on Solar Eclipses. My personal communication with Jay did not last long, since I began to do solar eclipse observations late in my career, but they stay in my memory. Although we were so close, it was a pity that I did not meet Jay due to our busy preparations during the observation of the total solar eclipse on 2008 August 1 and Jinta County, Gansu Province, China. That was my initial solar eclipse observation, and fortunately, we succeeded. Our first but short meeting occurred on 2009, July 22, in Tianhuanping Reservoir, Anji County, Zhejiang Province, China again. For the annual short face-to-face gathering were arranged. The 2013 Gabon total solar eclipse was the onset for us to cooperate. We arrived at Gabon before his group, and I reminded him to pay attention to the chaos caused by the local custom inspection. We kept contact about the weather information via mobile phone and enjoyed the success after the observation. I met him and had a cheerful talk at Libreville, the capital of the Gabon. Our next meeting was in 2017, before the Grand American total solar eclipse occurred. We decided to carry out the observation at Dallas, Oregon, according to Jay's suggestion, instead of Lincoln City. We met under the reception lobby of the hotel where Naomi and him stayed. Then we inspected the observational site together, not far away from ours. I gave the last talk after his in SPD annual meeting in Portland, Oregon, after the eclipse. The 2019 total solar eclipse made us together again in Chile, where we shared the same observation site as he proposed, and details were discussed about the scientific goals. He introduced our observation in a later IAU symposium. Here, I would like to thank Jim for his trust. Before he submitted his review paper entitled Heliophysics and Total Solar Eclipses to Nature Astronomy journal, he sent me the manuscript and asked for my suggestions and comments. Later, I became the referee for his paper. It is really a wonderful summary of the solar eclipse observational results. I still remember our idea exchange process for shipping the triennial report of a working group during the IAU assembly in Vienna in 2018, and a short meeting for discussing 2019 total solar eclipse observations and accepting new members of the group. Well, I just wanted his comments and description of our discovery obtained by analysis of data acquired during 2013 Gabon total solar eclipse. The heartbreak news arrived at me. What a pity. I did feel when we did the total solar eclipse observation on April 20 of this year in East Timor, because that he could not need his group to do it with me. Finally, thanks to Jeff for his contributions to the solar corona physics and his model increased the solar eclipses to reveal the secret of the solar corona in that I'm engaged. His scientific influence maintains, as evidenced by the occultation of the Betelgeuse experiment. He joined the solar eclipses, of course, and so do I and the other group members. This is our common values. We will forever miss Jay, the eclipse hunter. May him be happy in heaven and continue to be the hunter. Yours sincerely, Zhong Quanqi. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ku. I am really sorry because I didn't see you before, but it was iPhone only. It was not possible to distinguish. I don't know if the previous speaker that we have, that I didn't see also, maybe is here. Dev C is here? I think no. Okay. Then in this case, I would like to give the turn to the family of J. Pasachoff. We have the honor that Naomi
sorry, Rosa, it is not Professor Singh?
No, it's not here. I asked
because a few seconds ago he was.
He's
Pato.
Yeah. Yagdev, are you there?
He's on mute, but he's here.
Now it's here. It's here.
Yes.
Yes, but please turn on the micro. He's here, but the micro is not there.
A few seconds ago was. Let me see.
Okay. Could you open the micro now?
No, he has the microphone turned
No,
on.
he's open
Professor,
now.
yes, Yagdev Singh.
Yagdev, yes, please.
Can you speak, Yagdev? Yes, we can see you, but we cannot hear.
No.
No, we can't. Probably your setup, the audio setup. No. No. We cannot. Okay. So.
If he goes out and comes back into the room, that might handle his audio issue.
Yes. Try to, yes. Okay. Then, yes, Rosa, if you want to follow. Okay.
Well, I believe that we can continue, and after if we
will try if we can solve the problem.
the problem, we can ask him again. Okay.
Okay.
Well, then the next speaker now is Naomi Pasachoff. I am very.
Naomi, and I believe it's Deborah also
Deborah, I don't
connected.
see Deborah's picture.
I'm here.
We're all
Yeah. I saw her.
Naomi is here, and I would like to say to Naomi, thank you very much to be here.
Well, it's a very moving experience for me, and that's why I'm ceding the floor to Deborah primarily, so I don't weep all over the the computer, but I will say some words after she says what she wants to say.
Okay.
Okay.
Good
morning.
Okay. So if you don't know me and you're on this call, my name is Deborah Pasachoff. I am the younger daughter of Jay and Naomi. I'd like to thank you guys for inviting me to speak here today. And I'm going to try and use my time to share a very different perspective on Jay Pasachoff than I think most of the world could do. My sister could do something very similar to this. Even mom has a different perspective, of course. So being the child of Jay Pasachoff meant that we had an unusual upbringing, to be sure. Fred did mention that my father wanted everyone to see an eclipse once in their life. And I guess I'm living proof that he wanted more than that, because at 6 months old, they put me in a backpack and took me down to Mexico to see my first eclipse. So it started very early. Not all the eclipses he went to, though, during our youth were things that we went to with him. My father traveled to a lot of places that back then, especially, people didn't go to regularly. So it's still somewhat unusual when people talk about going to Africa on a safari or Indonesia or things like that from the United States now. But back in the 1970s and 80s, people didn't travel like that. So we grew up in a household just filled with things he had brought back from his trip. He always made sure to collect different art from the different cultures he had visited and been welcomed into. We had pictures from all of this, things that he did for National Geographic and not for National Geographic, just for his own interest and to share the world that he got to see. So not only was it about the astronomy, but it was about visiting all around the world. One of my early memories is when he had been off, I think at an eclipse in Indonesia, but I'm not positive, but he had been somewhere kind of off the beaten path for a while. And we went to the Albany airport, up to the gate, which you could do back in those days, to pick up my father, whom I was expecting. And then I was really confused because this man got off the plane and he had like this full red beard. And why mom thought that was dad was super confusing to me. But I can tell you that he grew a full red beard when he was traveling to these places. We often make reference in the family to what we would call eclipse errands, which would mean dad being off on some trip to one of these really difficult to get to places. And for those of you who traveled with him, you may remember getting there early to set up everything and make sure that all the experiments were working and all the cameras were working. And a lot of times things were missing a part or something didn't happen at the last minute, but still enough in advance of the eclipse itself that there was some time to fix it. Meanwhile, we would be back in the States and receive these so-called eclipse errands, which were sometimes the wildest things that I could think of. You've got to contact, the CEO of this company that makes this specific thing, and then you've got to get it, and you've got to bring it to the airport to meet this person, and you've got to get this person a plane trip. to fly them
Well,
halfway
can I
around.
interrupt for a second then, Deb,
Yeah.
because that's my favorite eclipse errand story.
Okay, then you can tell.
One Sunday morning, in his absence, the girls and I were staying in my parents' apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And early in the morning, I get a phone call. Call Dennis DeChico. No, but first you have to call the president of the Tektronix company in Oregon. And here's the phone number. So it was 3 hours earlier or whatever, 2 hours earlier in Oregon. Naomi gets on the phone. She calls the president of Tektronix, who surprisingly was not angry at her and was very helpful. And I don't remember, I think it was Indonesia. And I think there was, oh, but he said, call Dennis DeChico, give him your credit card number, let him fly first class to wherever he was flying, somewhere in Asia, and he'll get the part in Boston and he'll bring it. So anyway, it all worked, but that was very typical. Finally, we decided, you know what? It's easier to go on the eclipse than you can't be the one who gets the eclipse errand. But my mother always remembered that my mother was a very busy person. She was an economist of great note. And Jay would call her at the office from somewhere and say, Anna, you've got to do this. And so Anna dropped everything and did whatever she had to do to get whatever it was to Jay. Okay, back to you, Deb.
Well, I'm actually surprised that Anna dropped everything to get things to Jay, because my grandmother, Anna, was the one who, you know, could not be bothered. She had to get home to Isaac, my grandfather, so she couldn't wait for which royalty from some country.
Oh, yes, right. Yes, she didn't, something in Japan, I think. Yeah.
Right. She wouldn't wait. So that puts Jay above the royalty that Anna would not wait for. Anyway, as you can see, eclipse errands were not super easy. And so sometimes we went with him. Mom went more often than the rest of us. One of the things my father was particularly passionate about, which has been mentioned, was bringing astronomy into the lives of more people. So wherever he was, if he was traveling for an eclipse, we would go into the schools and teach the kids there about what to expect. I remember when Halley's Comet was coming around, going with my father to talk at a local nursing home. And I remember because we were in the room and he was making a comment he made often around that time about how it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Well, maybe except for Deborah, who's so young that, you know, she'll probably be alive the next time around. And then he kind of looked around the room and realized that we were in the room with many people who had actually been alive for the last Halley's Comet, and that maybe this was the one time he was finding himself in a room where the once-in-a-lifetime experience really only applied to him. So that's the difference when you go into a nursing home and you bring a young kid with you. So he may have rethought that, but then he took me to go get donuts, so all was good. I'm not sure the donuts were public knowledge at the time, Mom. Sorry. But he did, you know, talk to kids wherever we went, talk to various groups. We would joke that he would speak in Spanish when we went to places, and he spoke a version of Spanish that we understood, but we weren't sure whether everybody else who actually spoke real Spanish could understand it. But, you know, he was working hard to bring the understanding and really the love of astronomy to everyone. And I'm lucky enough that I have 3 kids, and for all of my kids, he was able to come in and speak to their classes about astronomy, about eclipses, starting with my oldest, who's now 13. When she was in, I think, a 3 or 4-year-old class, he came in to talk to them when they were doing a little section at daycare on the planets, and he came in, and then for the various eclipses partial that we've had here in Southern California, he had come in to talk to them, including most notably prior to the 2017 eclipse, he came into the elementary school, and for the first time in my life, having seen him talk at all these times, for the first time in my life as a parent, I really had a new appreciation for what he was doing, because he came in, we had arranged for him to talk with the kindergartners through 6th graders. So for those not in the American school system, that's from age 5 till age 12. And we had 3 separate groups, and he actually gave 3 separate presentations depending on the age group he was talking to. And he was able to get through to the kids at these different ages. And I didn't realize as a kid growing up that he was doing that or what an impressive skill it was. But seeing him do that for my own kids was really remarkable. And knowing that not only was he able to talk to kids in that way and bring the love of astronomy to them, but also to adults. And obviously he was a college professor, but I seen him speak at a number of events, you know, for
I'd
all.
like to break in again for a second.
Yeah.
Deb. One of the things that probably no one in the audience there knows is that Jay helped get a new line of stuffed planets into a business. They're called Celestial Buddies. And Jay would often demonstrate, even in Deborah's kids' classes, Lily, her oldest child, would take the sun, and you know, somebody else would have the moon, and it really was very nice. We had in the United States at the end of October a memorial event for Jay, and the man who started that company with his daughter was there and came over and thanked me for what Jay had done. Of course, for Jay, it was not only helping a fellow Harvard graduate, but also making a special kind of tool that really would show young children what was going on with celestial mechanics. In many ways, I think I was Jay's least gifted student. I really didn't know anything about any of this when we met. And I remember the first time I saw a picture of an eclipse, and I asked him, "What is that?" And he said to me, "This time your ignorance is not cute." And he spent the next, you know, almost 49 years teaching me. And I often say I learned a lot more about astronomy and other sciences as a result of my marriage to Jay, for which I was very grateful. I have a doctorate in English literature, but who would have guessed when I was getting my PhD that most of my books would be biographies of scientists for teenagers. So I have a biography of Bohr, I have a biography of Pauling, I have a biography of Rutherford, and even one geneticist, and that was a botanist, and she was a Nobel Prize winner too. But I have to admit that my lowest grade in university was in botany, so it was rather amusing that I ended up writing about Barbara McClintock. Anyway, I certainly had many opportunities to understand these many photographs that we have around the house. I'm sure this is true for Fred and well, probably for many other eclipse aficionados, but he could tell by looking at the corona which eclipse it was, and that has eluded me. But I've also realized in the very difficult months since Jay's death on November 20th, 2022, the greatest legacy, well, I was going to say the greatest gift he bequeathed me was not only all his former students from over 50 years, many of whom came from very far away to attend this memorial event we had in Williamstown, but they also, one of them came from Honolulu. He went back after the event, and then a few weeks later, he had a meeting in Washington, D.C., and he came and had dinner with me and other students from all around the world, and that is a wonderful gift. But also the gift of the eclipse community. I remember in the off years when there wasn't an eclipse, there would be a meeting in some city where the eclipse, Jed didn't like the idea of eclipse chasers, he would call it, he was an eclipse follower. We knew where the eclipse would be. He had to go to follow the eclipse. Anyway, a lot of people were there at this meeting, and I consider you all my family too. And I remember very well the presence of the group of Chinese scientists in the lobby of the hotel in Salem, Oregon. I remember being in India with Jagdev. I remember, oh yes, so about a week after Jay was diagnosed, no, Jay was diagnosed with lung cancer a couple of weeks after we returned from the eclipse in 2019 in Chile. And Jay was remarkable. He was not going to give up. He was almost, one could say, certainly at the end, in denial. Jay thought, I sort of have this idea that he mystically believed that if he prepared for the next several solar eclipses, he would get there. And he was so thrilled that even in his geriatric age, he was given an SF grant for the next 2 solar eclipses. About a week, and this time I'm really not exaggerating, a week after he finished chemotherapy and radiation therapy in the winter of 2019, we got on an around the world trip. First, we went to, where did we go to first? First, we went to India for a partial eclipse, and that was wonderful. Then we went to Japan, where we had a meal with the solar physicists with whom he had collaborated over the years. And then we went to to Honolulu for the 2-week American Astronomical Society meeting there. The first time I think that Jay had an inkling that he would not be able to outrun the cancer was in the fall of 2022, just about a month before he died. We had flights arranged and arrangements to be picked up at the airport at Helsinki and a hotel reservation. The morning that we were being picked up to go to JFK for the flight, we got an urgent phone call at 8 a.m. from his oncologist, who said, "I'd like you and Naomi to come up here right away." So we came up to see him. And he said, "Jay, I can't stop you from getting on that plane, but I can advise you that it is not in the best interest for your longevity and that you could suffer." I don't have to go through the list of things that could happen, but Jay said, "I'm going anyway." And I will admit to this group that I said, "No, I'm not going. If you want to go, you're going by yourself." He was very angry, but he agreed finally not to go. However, he continued preparing not only for the eclipse in Australia last April, but also for the one that he would have gone to Mazatlan to see. Deborah and I and her family and one of my other daughter's children are planning to go to the eclipse in Texas on April 8th, 2024. And I was really deeply touched when one of the people I knew slightly, but not very well from eclipses in the past, got in touch with me to say that he was running a trip and he was interested in having me come if I wanted to. And in the end, the exact arrangement didn't work that way because the hotel room he had that would have been fine for me was not large enough to accommodate Deborah's 5 and me and my oldest grandson. So he made alternate arrangements for us. So I am hopeful that my connection to the eclipse community will continue. I don't get invited to meetings anymore, and the many friends, including in the history of astronomy, the history of physics in general, I will miss those. Some people will come to see me anyway, for whom I should point out that I have moved to Washington, D.C. I'm not in Williamstown anymore. But I was very happy to see so many people from the eclipse community sit in my living room and have a meal with us. And I saw that Pato's name was on the screen, and I think it was also in April before Jay died, we met him and his significant other in Viña del Mar, and we watched from the balcony of our hotel the partial eclipse. So eclipses were part of the family life of the Pasachoffs. It's so ingrained in us that I don't know that we will continue to go to everyone. We already haven't gone to the one in Australia, but I would like to continue my relationship with this community. And Rosa and Beatrice, I mean, I have such lovely memories of time with you. And even if I don't see you again, I will never forget those times. So I'm very emotional right now. I'm turning it back over to the organizers.
I would like to say something, Naomi. Sorry, and it's about that we miss your contributions for the Commission 24 and Commission 1 after, when you prepare these beautiful comments on the recommended books.
Oh, thank you.
For me, it was a pleasure to see the critics of the books and the recommendation from your side, because you are a great reader. So I miss this.
Yes,
And I hope we can recover this activity, more or less forgotten. I don't know why, but it was
That would
great.
be very nice, because honestly, I'm happy in DC, but I don't feel I have something I want to put my time into. But if I could know that if I read a book on, the history. I lost your voice. Okay.
Sorry. We will include this activity somewhere. I don't know exactly where. But I would like to mention, because beyond the activities you perform and you carry out with Jay, you help and support a lot of other activities in the Commission of Education of Astronomy. So, and also as editor of many proceedings.
Including for this meeting.
Probably Rosa can talk a little bit about the work as editor, because we remember all your suggestions and comments about how to write a better English. Not English as a born language, but a better English. Thank you, Naomi.
And it was, for me, it was very, very special to work with Jay for many years, especially when he was the president of Commission 46, and I was the vice president with him. It was a very important interaction. We also together organized a meeting in Prague, and after it was very special for me to work with him and with Naomi. That of course my English is absolutely awful, but
better than our Spanish.
Well, the Spanish is better, yes, but the English no. But in any case, I think it was very special for me, because it was the same that the other people say. No, it is a very very generous, very active, very promoting ideas, and with a lot of decision. It was fantastic to work with him. I enjoyed really very well all this period, and also we continue with a special, from my point of view, a special feeling. I have a special prediction to try to meet Jay or Naomi or both in the meetings where I know that probably they are, no. And then I think it is a very special situation for me, and I want to mention now, because, for instance, I received one email from Magda Stravinsky that is not here because it was impossible to have another meeting. And one of the things that he said, and I agree, that the people, it never is forbidden if they are in the memory of their friends, and Jay is in our memories, and I think it is in some way for centuries and centuries, no, because the people have a memory of somebody that continues in our life. Then I think this is a special session that really we want to organize in more official way, but it was impossible, Beatriz say before. And finally, we decided to organize inside our activities in NASE, because it was only our, how do you say, possibility, no? Because it was our decision. And then we think that it was necessary to do that. It was absolutely necessary. And I don't know if there are people that want to participate in this meeting and to say something about Jay, and maybe now is a good moment to do.
Rosa, remember,
yes.
sorry,
Yes.
remember that we have a participant, is Donald Lubovich. Donald Lubovich is here, and
Also email to me John Percy also that he
and
wants.
John Percy. Yes, I can see John Percy. It's a good thing to see you.
Maybe we give the turn to Donald Lubovich.
Yes, please. He is here, I believe.
Yes, he is here.
I'm here.
Donald?
Hi.
Yes, hello.
Hi,
How are you?
Hi,
Nice to see you.
Hi, Naomi. Hi. Can I share the screen?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
Dan, after the contribution by Donald, we will give you the possibility to talk. Okay, Dan?
Okay.
Don't forget John Percy. That
No. I did.
Okay.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, we see.
So I'm here as a non-eclipse person, although I've been to several eclipses with Jay, not at the same time with Jay, and sometimes stayed near him or with him. I'm not a Williams College graduate. I'm a graduate of Northwestern University, but Jay was my friend, colleague, and collaborator for 35 years. You all know he's kind and generous, all. And Jay was unique. He combined his love for astronomy with research, student education, and promoting public understanding of science. Jay was the evaluator for my NASA-funded outreach, and he came to a Ronald McDonald House with sick kids and helped bring astronomy to them. He brought Williams College students to learn about astronomy at classical music concerts. He was the recipient of the AAS and the ASP Award for Science Education, and following Carl Sagan and Sir Fred Hoyle. So he was one of the most important astronomy educators of his generation. What people don't know about, many of you, I know, and I know Naomi knows, a lot of people aren't aware of, that Jay was an excellent radio astronomer. Jay's published search for deuterium in the galactic center in the 1970s inspired me to become a deuteronomer. I've continued this research to this day. With Jay and our collaborators and students, we actually detected deuterium in the galactic center in the extreme outer edge of the galaxy and searched for deuterium in B stars, the Orion Nebula, Seyfert galaxies, and supernova remnants. And we use many of the world's largest telescopes to do that. I was there with Jay, we were there ourselves, and we were there with students to use many of the world's telescopes. And Jay often brought telescopes. One year we were at the National Radio Astronomy Observatory in Japan, Nobayama. And Jay brought his students, I brought my students, and one of my students is probably the first time Cosmopolitan magazine was ever in the National Radio Astronomy Observatory of Japan. One of my students brought that, and Jay had left, and I was leaving the following day. So I left, and it was a Sunday. And in Japan, we had shoes for the observatory, and you had to take your shoes off, and you had different sandals for the observatory, for the administration, and where the housing was and where the offices were. And it was a Sunday, so nobody's there. So I left, and I left my shoes got locked up. And I had to leave with my slippers to go on the train from Nobayama to Tokyo to the airport back to the United States. 18 months later, when we were there, my shoes were still in the same spot in the shelf. And so anyhow, so here's a picture of Jay at a concert. It was a concert near Jay it was actually a rock group. And we were at a concert and Jay spoke and then I spoke, and it was for about probably 5,000 people were there. So many people there that we could not see with the lights of the audience, with the stage lights. And Jay was answering questions all the time for everybody and spent a lot of time explaining supermoon, what it was, and astronomy to people of all ages and all interests. And that was his magic, that he was able to communicate to astronomy. And I just, and I'm so very proud to be his friend and colleague.
Thank you, Don. That was very nice.
Thank you. Yes, nice words. Thank you very much.
Oops, let me show one more picture. Oh, let me go back to screen share. Can you still see it?
Okay. Okay.
Let me get the screen share. Am I on still screen share again still?
Not for the moment.
One more thing.
Oh, yes.
Here you go. So here's where we were at the Tanglewood Music Festival, and Jay brought his students with, and he brought them to both do astronomy, and he always wanted his students to learn about not only astronomy, but to do outreach. He was an early leader, making sure that his students not just understood astronomy, but how important it was to expand astronomy to the public. And Jay also spoke about eclipses and the transit of Venus when we were there, which is not surprising. And so it was a great time. We hired somebody who dressed up as Galileo. Actually, he's actually both a degree in physics and a degree in fine arts, and that's what he does professionally. And the last time I saw Jay and Naomi was at the IAU meeting in Vienna in 2018. And then COVID hit, and I wasn't able to see Jay after that. So I wanted to bring this as a non-eclipse view of Jay, and because there's so many things that he did that are with the eclipse, not the eclipse. He was more like a Renaissance man. So let me stop the share.
Yes, you did it.
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you. Maybe Dan?
Dan has the hand raised. I don't know. Dan?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Hi, Dan.
Well, it's wonderful to be with everybody today, and particularly it's wonderful to see our dear friend Naomi. And we look forward to seeing you in Washington, D.C. before long. I just wanted to talk very briefly about Jay as a life changer. I came to Williams College in 1976, and no, I'm sorry. Anyway, no, 5 years before that. Let me get to the point. The point is that Jay was the new professor of astronomy at Williams, and he came recruiting for people who wanted to go to help with the total solar eclipse on Prince Edward Island in 1972, and I got a chance to do that and do that with Jay, and that was a very special occasion. But a real life-changing event came the next summer, and we're 50 years past this. This was the second longest eclipse of the last century in Loyangalani, Kenya was where we went, and so I went with Jay and 3 other Williams students, including Stu Vogel, who's on this call. And I was 20 years old at the time. I was always able to keep track of Jay's age because he was about 10 years older than I am. And we went to far northern Kenya, and it literally changed my life because we got to do our experiment on the shore of what was back then called Lake Turkana. And and there were 10 university groups there. And then there was Williams College with Jay at our head. And the kind of lessons I learned there and the companionship. And I want to share just a couple of pictures if I could share my screen. Let's just see what happens. So are you seeing some pictures of Hunky J fishing in Lake Rudolph, Lake Turkana? Do you see this picture?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. So that's Jay. You can see he was quite fit, quite active. And then you can see in this middle picture that this fishing expedition was pretty extraordinary from our perspective. These are all Nile perch, 10, 20, 30 pounds each. Absolutely delicious eating fish. This was the staple of the people who lived on the shores of this beautiful lake, and they were able to go out and with minimal effort get protein for a whole village in an afternoon. So that was a bountiful life. And here's Jay in a characteristic pose in the sense of he was always learning, always interested in learning about local customs and local activities wherever he went in the world. And so he's being shown how to use a bow with an arrow with a poison dart on the end. So we paid particular attention to that one as we packed up at the end of the eclipse. So just wanted to say thanks to everybody, but particularly thanks to Jay for the way he started me on a life of astronomy. I taught for 30 years at Oberlin College, retired recently, but I'm still involved in the astronomy world. And it's been a wonderful time and many special occasions along the way to visit with Naomi and Jay and their children. And we look forward to more times together with Naomi and Deborah and Eloise and their families in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. And I would like to suggest to John Percy. John was here.
Yes.
See.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Very well.
Yes. Well, thank you for giving me this few minutes because I do have to leave this meeting shortly, but I'm just so glad that everybody is here. Just one little thing to talk about. It's exactly 50 years since I became involved in international astronomy education through the IAU. And I immediately got to know Jay because we were the national representatives for the US and for Canada. And the one thing I would like to mention is the international conference that we organized at Williams College in 1988, which I believe was the first international conference on astronomy education. And we were the co-chairs of the meeting. It was held at Williams College. We also co-edited the proceedings, which I have here. One of many that both of us were involved in. The other thing is that Jay was an honorary member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, which is actually a quite selective group. I think it's restricted to about 15 people. And after his death, I had the very sad honor of writing his obituary for the Journal of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. Now, next April, we are having an almost total eclipse of the sun in Toronto. It becomes total a little bit further from here. And I'm sure that we'll all be remembering Jay's many contributions to eclipses, but let's not forget his contributions to education as well. So thank you, Naomi. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you to the organizers of this meeting. It was just absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much.
Please send my best to your wife and daughter.
I will, yes.
Thank you very much for your participation, John. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next one speaker is Jibaji from Tanzania, Professor Jibaji.
Yes, before I would like to say something because we are on time, so the people is leaving the meeting. Can you turn on a bit moment at the cameras, because I was taking screenshots, but better if everybody.
Sorry.
Yes, turn for a second, and Shivaji, you can speak in any time,
Okay,
but
yes.
I will take the screenshots. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, I'm really very pleased that I have this opportunity to share some of my experiences and my connections with Jay. I was a very young astronomer to be, in fact, I would say, because I first met him during an eclipse in Lusaka in 1990. I went there on my own will because I had already experienced an eclipse in Tanzania, and I was already really into eclipses. I said, I have to go to the Zambia eclipse so that I can really be with the international community there. So in Lusaka, I went there, and I was told that Jay was there, and I almost crashed their camp, and he invited me, and now I'm very, very pleased to see you also, and we are really very, very, very glad that we are doing this today, and you are there with us. So when I met him, he invited me so wholehearted because I had already used his books and the field guide so much, and I had not met him ever, and then I had a very nice picture with him. That was a treasure for me to show to everyone for many, many years, and then later on, when my sons had an opportunity to study in the US, I came to the US and I told him about it, and he told me to come to a meeting of the Astronomical Society in Boston. So I went there, and he introduced me to several colleagues, and he invited to your home, and I'm very glad that you received me well, and you received my family well. We came together, and he gave us a signed copy. And later on, during our associations, he invited me to join the expedition to South Africa, where there was a partial eclipse from the tip of Southern Africa, So I joined him, and it was a unique experience because it was a sunrise eclipse, extremely cold, and where the two oceans are meeting, and a memorable experience with so much equipment, where I was a part of his team, and it was an honor for me, literally. So it has built me up a lot, and I carry on the passion, and I invited him to join us during the 2016 eclipse, annular eclipse in Tanzania, and he was very enthusiastic, and we were really planning very hard. But then, our facilities perhaps may not. He was worried about you, Naomi, that you may not be able to bear our rough facilities, because I could not guarantee a lot of things because we were going to very rural areas. So he decided not to come to Tanzania, which was very, very sad. But it has been an extremely useful, and he was so very, very helpful to us. He guided us. He guided my children to apply, in fact, to Williams College, and they got admission, but they got another college at MIT, so they decided to go. But we still continue to appreciate his commitment to astronomy, and we continue to exchange newer greetings all over during all the years. Thank you very much, everyone, for allowing me to share my experiences with you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much to participate and to talk and to be here with us.
Yeah, I should thank Rosa actually, because really, she knows me very well, and she doesn't fail to alert me when there is anything happening in the astronomy world. Thank you very much, Rosa and Beatrice also. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if somebody would like to talk more.
I don't see any other raised hand, but I believe we can.
Rosa,
Yes.
shall I add something?
Yes. Yes, please.
This is Mohammed Sol here from Eclipse 26, 27, 28. As you know, in Spain, we are getting prepared for 3 solar eclipses in 3 consecutive years, 2026, 27, 28. And so Jay Pasachoff, during the last years, helped us a lot along the project. And personally, I was in contact with him sometimes every day. He was a humble guy, as you know. I remember that on my project, on my university project, he edited a part of my thesis like word by word. It was amazing. And when it comes to Eclipse 26, 27, 28, as you know, there is a partial solar eclipse in 2025 as well. And a couple of times Jay told me, why not that partial of 2025? It was even more so important, a partial one. Now, after like 120 years, we are going to have a total solar eclipse in the Iberian Peninsula, and Jay Pasachoff paid attention even to that partial before the grand event on 2025. It was a pleasure for me to be in contact with him. Moreover, I wanted to add that I had an experience for the Betelgeuse next to the Carlos observation point in Alicante. I'm currently in Spain. And soon we are preparing a documentary about the Betelgeuse observation, not only the scientific aspects, but about the feelings and emotions of a group, so everybody can see the results on eclipse 26, 27, 28.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. And please email me, because I would like to contact with you about the future eclipses, okay?
It's a pleasure.
We are neighbors in some way. Do you have my email?
No, but I will.
Okay, I write here in the chat, and you email me, please.
It's
okay?
a pleasure.
Yes, Patricio Pato Rojo.
Yes, so I just want to add a few words, which was, of course, that it was my great pleasure to meet Jay back in 2010 in an Eastern Island eclipse. It was the first time I met him and Naomi. And then, of course, in the 3 eclipses in a row we had in Chile, 19, 20, 21 of total solar eclipse, but also in the partial solar eclipse that we end up looking from Naomi and Jay's bedroom in the hotel that has a view to the ocean. That was very, very nice. So his enthusiasm and strength to carry all the efforts and coordinations, he was remarkable. And I'll always remember, and Naomi as well.
Thank you, Pato. More speakers?
I think no.
It looks that all of us, we explain our feeling, and other.
Thank you so much for making this possible. I was very nervous as the day approached, but I'm very gratified, and everybody spoke so kindly about Jay, and I know he loved all of you. So
I would like to say thank you especially to Naomi, because it was very, very close to our heart that you are here. And it is, for me, is very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I would like to say something to Naomi. I suggest that perhaps it's better for you to publish the book recording Pasachoff's very special experiences of his observation of the solar eclipses. So we can provide some materials to you.
I don't think
that's
the right person to do that. Maybe one of his former students would be better equipped. I was most amused last year when I started getting phone calls, would I give an eclipse talk before this eclipse or that eclipse? And no, I can't give an eclipse talk. I know enough to enjoy the spectacle, but I can't help people fix their camera equipment and, so anyway, people I think I'm a smart person and I'm very good at what I do, but I can't write a book of the kind you're talking about, which requires somebody with both technical and linguistic skills. And I don't have the technical skills.
I see. So perhaps that's a topic for us to discuss in our group. Okay. So in the future, because we will do the eclipse observation the next year, the April 8th in America, in Dallas, Texas. So perhaps we can meet there. So
Texas is a very big state, and I don't think it's very easy to. You probably have a very either long car drive, or I think there's a train.
Oh, I see.
You'll be in Dallas, I'll be in San Antonio and Uvalde. So.
Okay, I see.
Okay. Well, I think that we are in the last part.
I would give both of you very warm hugs if I were with you. And let's just pretend that we can hug each other virtually. And
yes, the same from our side, Naomi. Yes. I hope this is not the last meeting about this topic, and to remember the figure of the person who was Jay. I hope to have the opportunity to have probably a meeting next year at the General Assembly. I don't know. And I will propose this again. So please try to
Where is
join.
the General Assembly?
It's in South Africa. It's not so easy to go, but there will be people there in representation of the whole group. So we will try to make something else and to remember Jay during all the year and mainly each eclipse. So
Beatrice, include me in your emails if you are contacting them, because I can put in my word also from Tanzania myself also for remembering Pasachoff.
I just remembered one thing I would like to say. Jay was the same way he mentored so many students. He was mentored by Donald, Deborah, help me with the name, Menzel, Donald Menzel, who is the Harvard Observatory. When we got married, Donald Menzel and his wife gave us a Harvard chair, which we still have in our living room in Williamstown. And Jay wrote a thank you note. Dear Donald and Florence, we thank you in torrents for sending the wonderful chair. From eclipse to eclipse and on all of our trips, we will think of the chair everywhere. So Jay thought about eclipses all the time.
And Naomi, in fact, I first came across the field guide when Donald Menzel had edited it.
Right.
And then Jay came in after that. Yeah. So right. I know about Jay Menzel also, Donald Menzel also. Thank you.
Right. Those families are still connected to Menzel and Pasachoff. Deborah has an ongoing correspondence with one of the grandchildren of the Menzels.
Okay, great.
And that may have been the first time that Dad's affinity for poetry was mentioned. But for those of you who did not know, he was a great love of poems and poetry. And every year, our birthday cards were new poems that he wrote for us and then eventually for our children, etc. But thank you to Rosa and Beatrice for inviting me to be here today. And thank you for putting together this beautiful remembrance for my father. And thank you to all of you, because I think he would be so gratified to know that his memory lives on in this way. And we're very appreciative of that.
Gratified are we, in fact. Thank you.
And to continue to remembering.
Yes.
We'll continue forever to remember him.
Yes, I believe so.
And pass it on,
Thank you so much.
on to our. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Bye-bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you very much. And see you next time.
Thank
Yes,
you.
see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Always with astronomy connection.
Thank
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Good to see you too. Thank you to be here.
Thank you for participating.
Thank you, Naomi. Thank you very much. And Deborah, I believe she's still here.
I'm still
Thank you.
here. Yeah, really,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You were
Really
very, very kind and warm.
Impressive meeting. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Xavier. Are you there still? I know you are there.
Yes, I'm there, but for me
Thank
it's too difficult to speak.
Yeah, I know. I know. Thank you very much to be here.
Thank you, Xavier.
Thank you, Naomi. All the best.
Thank you to everybody.
Well, I hope we can continue with this kind of meetings, because that is part of astronomy. It's not just science, it's also emotion, it's also friendship. And this is evidence. This is proof that we are all together and we have the same objectives in the life to make better the life. So
the world could certainly use some betterment right now.
yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate a lot your participation. We know that it's difficult because times and work and distance, but was great. Thank you very much.
Put so
Really.
much effort into it, and he would have been so pleased and grateful. So thank you. Okay, I'm going to get off the Zoom now, and I will hope to see you in person sometime.
Yes, yes, hopefully. Thank you very much. Okay. Listo, Rosa. Sí. Yes, thank you, Constantino. Nice to meet you face to face.
You're welcome.
Thank you
Margarita, are you there? Thank you, Margarita.
very much to everybody.
Yes.
Constantino, to all the people. Thank you. I think that we can finish the session, Beatriz.
Yes, can you, ¿podés poner por favor el diapositiva final? Porque me es más fácil después cortar para acomodar el video que
Sí.
insertar.
No hay problema. Espérate un momento. Dios.
Creo que es la que sigue. No te preocupes, después yo edito. Ahí está. Bien. Perfecto. Bueno, Rosa, muchas gracias.
No, gracias a ti.